Without a vision, people perish, but without courage, dreams die. Rosa Parks.
I think that for me, this campaign is a crucial moment in a larger movement for poor and working people here and abroad. We need alternative institutions, alternative infrastructures, alternative movements, alternative visions.
Ask, and it is given.
Imagine this, if we invited poor and working people to organize and buy medications as a group. You know how they're talking about Biden's plan to help Medicare negotiate for like 10 drugs that we'll no longer need or have access to in the future? Well, we could do better. I have a plan that I think you'll appreciate, a way to get poor and working people to organize and buy their meds as a group, so Medicare will get the benefits of group discounts, collective bargaining, and negotiated prices, something that unions and everyone will benefit from. So if we formed a grassroots union, a movement, and use collective bargaining to provide every member of every union the benefits of strengthening numbers, we'll qualify for volume discounts on health-related goods and services and literally save trillions. Taking health insurance off the negotiating table for unions, leaving more money for better wages, safer conditions, and enough people to do the job right, as well as giving them decent schedules and the like. This will improve the quality of life better than any other platform under consideration. So imagine this, if we band together with someone of our own choosing, someone like the U.S. Post Office and Federal Credit Union, who always has a trusted relationship with anyone who participates in the economy, whether you're a buyer, seller, service provider. I mean, everyone has a connection to the post office. So let's take advantage of it with a bank of our own choosing. And considering the fact that the post office has brick and mortar sites in every zip code and does business with everyone who buys, sells, or is getting services in the community, it means the U.S. Post Office Bank can be the people's bank, owned, operated by, and accountable only to the people as opposed to corporations, which means we won't be causing and exploiting financial hardship with predatory interest rates. We can do better because Congress has power of the purse, and we've got leverage over Congress because we have the ability to solve problems they refuse to solve in ways that are beneficial to we the people. This means they can rein in Fed Chair Powell's approach to dealing with inflation. He is ruining the economy, whereas our plan can save it. In fact, we can probably save more than enough to deal with the homeless and hunger crisis, while also getting people health care and meds, not for profit, getting better outcomes and less time and for lower costs, while helping more people, better than any candidate running for office. Go Cornel West. So this plan will give Medicare the benefits of negotiated prices, saving trillions every year, so we can deal with inflation better than Fed Chair Powell. And because we have our own bank, we can invest in social determinants of health like housing, good jobs, food deserts, and public banks, giving us a safety net for the safety net that's ready for the future. So this plan will save more than enough to create tens of millions of meaningful jobs to strengthen the safety net. And by giving unions the benefits of free health insurance, they can take more leverage for negotiations, for better salaries, safer conditions, enough people to do the job, as well as getting better benefits and time off, better schedules. That's what the unions want, and our plan will pay for it, without hurting corporate bottom lines. Everyone wins. We can work together to get commerce and supply chains moving again, dealing with bottlenecks by getting people back to work, which we can pay for out of the trillion saved, which is a platform that pays for the entire solution without requiring an act of Congress. So if AI takes millions of jobs, guess who can put them back to work? We can, at PHIER'd.org. A fire-powered grassroots movement can get all this done before the upcoming election. I mean, this plan will create order out of chaos. It'll give us a reason to know that Black people are not as dumb as you might think. We have a lot of unique value to offer that no one appreciates or they're afraid of because we've proven ourselves to be successful and superior in so many ways. For instance, consider how after being freed from slavery, with no family, food, shelter, no resources, or community, how do you survive? Unless you use this to come together with other like-minded people who know how to work together to leverage each other's strengths to solve problems that need to be solved so that they can gain some stability, create a community, create commerce and services and industry and outperform all the white businesses that have been around for many, many years. The response was to destroy and erase our history because they couldn't compete with it. I wonder why. Did they feel threatened by what you'd call black excellence? Our history was erased.
Now, World War II was going really poorly, in large part because America only does the right thing after it's tried everything else. And they refused to allow black soldiers to participate in war because they thought that they were too cowardly, untrainable, weak-minded. But still they persisted. Here's one group's story. The Tuskegee Airmen figured out how to do what no one else had done. They were able to escort the U.S. bombers further into Hitler's Germany so they could destroy the target. And as a result, the tide of the war changed because of how we work, our minds. I mean, not only were we superior fighter pilots, but we were also superior mechanics and problem solvers. We figured out and pioneered a technology called drop tanks, which allowed them to fly deeper into the enemy territory so they could escort the bombers to their destination. And when it was time to engage the German fighters, they dropped the portable tanks and had full fuel and superior piloting skills, and the Tuskegee Airmen won the war, proving that they were inferior to no one. Why don't you know about this? Because we make other people look bad when we live up to our potential. And just like Black Wall Street, the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen was erased. More proof that we have unique value to offer because my dad, also a Tuskegee Airman, served 20 years in the U.S. Air Force as a ground-to-air communications specialist. He retired as Chief Master Sergeant, the highest rank in the military for a non-commissioned officer. He installed radio systems for the military around the world, and even did the one that Robin Williams made famous when he said,
"Picture a man going on a journey beyond sight and sound. He's entered the demilitarized zone. Good morning, Vietnam! Wow! I feel good."
My dad made that happen. Yeah, that's Dad making history. And he also was a real estate developer who envisioned, built, and then created what's now the world's largest Ukrainian church, the Bethany Slavic Missionary Church in Sacramento. Mabetta veterans and advocates for peace had our first meeting at the church that Dad built, and we spoke with Russians and Ukrainians and others who'd been impacted by the war and asked them whether or not they or the veterans would ever fight in the war unless they were first attacked. And 100% of them said there's no way they'd ever fight in the war, knowing what they now know, that the biggest casualty of war is the poor, at home and abroad.
I don't want America to be an empire. I mean, I'm fearless. So my critique of what's going on in Ukraine, I am in solidarity with my Ukrainian brothers and sisters. I want to bring the war to a close. This is a critique of the American empire. This is not just a critique of isolated war. Democrats have been the party of war. That's why Martin Luther King Jr. broke with LBJ. Look what LBJ was doing for poor people. It was a marvelous movement, war against poverty. But Martin King said no. In the end, those bombs dropped in Vietnam are going to land on ghettos and barrios and reservations and poor white communities. Brother Martin was right. We need a fundamental change in our priorities. He's absolutely right.
So join us in saying no to war and yes to world peace by joining us at PHIER'd.org. Be sure to register by clicking the link below. And if you like these ideas, wait till you see what's coming next. If we can get just 10% of prescription drug users to join us, then we can give every union and veteran good quality health insurance by making healthcare for all a reality. We'll generate savings enough to create tens of millions of meaningful, sustainable jobs on a national level, so that cities and states can better meet rising demand by creating order out of chaos and getting people who love to work, if they can get paid fairly and have good benefits. We take care of that with our movement. At the same time, when you add our bank and our health insurance plan, you can see how we can create a safety net for the safety net that's beneficial for all. That's what could happen if America finally does the right thing and follows our lead by joining us in solutions that can benefit the lives of everyone touched.
starting with you, the viewer.
A good place to start, join our membership drive at PHIER'd.org. That's how we can get our nation and planet back on the right track. By realizing that Black people like me, American descendants of slavery, we're doing what no one else has done, including little Vivek Ramaswamy. I challenge him to meet me in the marketplace of ideas where we can compare and contrast how well our recommendations for how to get our nation on the right track. Let's see who does more, better, faster, and who earns the respect of the 99%. Because up until now, you didn't know that Black men had value, that Black men could work together, multiple generations to solve problems that no one who thinks we're inferior can solve. If Vivek and anyone else wants to meet in the marketplace of ideas and compare and contrast the value of our solutions measured in terms of gratitude in human eyes, let's see who can do more to help people you say you care about. If you all can compete with and outperform what I'm bringing to the table, then I'll concede it. You are superior. But if you guys can't compete with and outperform what me and my dad and kids were bringing to the table, then you can't say we're inferior.
Which undermines the core philosophy and beliefs that people use to justify their cruelty, hatred, and prejudice against Black people like me. When we're not inferior, you need us as much as we need you.
If I can live up to my potential, you will be better off. This just might be the realization of the 400-year prophecy, when the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So there you have it. In closing, just know that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And there's nothing as powerful as realizing that, damn, Black people aren't as weak, feeble-minded, and stupid as we thought. Now, Black people have value. We make better allies than enemies. Yeah, we have a lot of problems as a people, but it's not that there's something wrong with us as much as something was done to make us the way we are. But what I have to offer with my team is something that can solve those problems too. And it's not reparations, it's a lot better. And that's why we started this entire solution focused on veterans.
Wait till you see what's next. Hopefully it's peace. And it gets better. Wait till you see what I can do with my son, making it 3 generations of Black men working together, and what I can do with my partner, a beautiful Black woman. Universal health insurance for veterans, union members, and everyone else.
We're going to have alternative vision, alternative institutions, alternative infrastructure. It has an alternative passion.
Learn more at PHIER'd.org.
This is a movement-driven campaign. This is a movement-driven project in that regard.